this diff has to come down out because you can do it. I hear something. I don't like it. I stopped working during my work week. To cut off work, my spacers were here. I was like, I'm throwing them on. Same spacers I ran on my other Z. I don't remember having to mill the front studs down a little bit, but I did because I went with 20 millimeter in the front, 25 in the rear. They suck up it. They look like they stick out, but once you set the car down, once it settles, right now the tire's kind of sticking out. But once it settles, they'll actually be up in a little bit, and they'll be tucked in even more. Because when the suspension goes up, it actually brings them in. Things I'm noticing already, now that I got done, that Easy Mask that I got, those guys told me that they were having a problem with the one brand, that the plastic was not attached to the tape. So I bought the more expensive brand. Guess what? Had the same issue. And I'm finding areas where I mask with that overspray got in. So I'm going to have to do some cutting and buffing on this thing, especially the door. But like, I noticed it right here. You can kind of see a mask line right there. That's overspray. I don't know if that's some there on the door, but it could be. I think it might just be dirt. I don't really want. Okay, that was just dirt. It wiped off. But I've seen some in another area somewhere else too. Right along this door, right here. Because I painted here, and I was rubbing one, and it actually is like clear coat caked on there. There's a couple spots here. Right there's one, and right there's one. So there was holes in that where it wasn't attached to the tape. Nice. But all in all, man, I'm loving this car. And if you guys think for a second that I'm going to let this thing sit in the wintertime, you're wrong. That's why I just undercoated it. Yes, this is a nice car, but at the end of the day, it's still an R title. So it's not worth clean title prices. And then on top of that, I want to drive the car. So if it's not snowing, but they're sold on the roads, I probably still will drive it. I haven't honestly cleaned it since I finished it. And since you've seen me clean it that one time. Remember that? Anyways, I'm going to the gym, so my weekend's coming up here soon. We're going to do some work on the C10. Been a couple days since that last clip. Took the wheel spacers back off. I don't know if I didn't drive my last Z very much whenever I got it before I put the wheel spacers on. I think I put them on pretty much instantly. But I looked at it after I put them on. It makes the car look like it's lifted. Like, it just... the tire spacing and stuff. If I lowered the car, maybe yes, but... I'm not lowering the car. It's... right now, it's perfectly drivable the way it is. Another thing is, it changed the handling characteristics of it. Like, I didn't like them as much with those spacers on as I did without them on there. Because I actually drove this car for a little bit without the spacers on there. So, went ahead, took them back off. While I had it up in the air, I found a problem with my Z that I will not be able to fix in this episode, but we are going to work on. But I'm going to pull it in the garage right now because I need to do a service on it, because I've been running on the oil one, and according to the sticker on the windshield, it still has about 1,000 miles until it needs changed. I'm going to go ahead and change it anyways. We're going to check the air filters, change the oil, and I'm going to show you the issue underneath it. The rear differential has to come out. Yeah, not my problem. I didn't cause this. It must have already been like this. In fact, I did notice this a while ago, but didn't think much of it until just recently. So, let's get that thing in here and get it up, and then I'll show you what's going on with it. Also, check these eBay specials out. Mod Life? Am I right? More Z. Anyways, one thing I had wrong with this, if you remember right. Well, I see one thing I did wrong already, but I don't feel it. You're supposed to line that yellow dot up with the valve stem. This is supposed to be the lightest part of the tire. This is the heaviest part of the rim. You're supposed to line them up. I was close. It's balanced. I balanced it on my balancer. I don't have any vibration, so we're good there. But if you remember right, my tire pressure light came right back on, and I was like, why is that? And I thought it was something I did wrong. Turns out it was something I did wrong. The rear tire didn't have enough air in it. Who would have thought that the tire light was on because the tire pressure wasn't right? Another thing I need to do is when I did the body work, I had one of these windows down, so I have dust on the inside of the window. I don't know if you can see it, so I need to get my window cleaner thing out and get that front window. I also need to wipe the dash down. But we're going to change the oil, and I'm going to show you the problem with my Z. It doesn't make it undrivable. I can drive the car, but I'll show you this. Another reason why I really like a manual, I can park the vehicle where I can get out of it, and then I can grab a hold of a wheel and I can move it. It's so much easier on my left. Also pressure tested that front lip today. I ran it into a snowbank and it's perfectly fine. Pressure tested, TOT approved. Alright, so let's just take a gander underneath this thing. So first off, I went ahead and rust prevented a lot of it. Well, there wasn't a lot to do. The whole front, subframe, suspension parts, all of that stuff is aluminum. Now, right here, that bracket is metal, so I coated that. That bracket is metal, I coated that. This bracket is just for the exhaust. I did spray the bolts right there, but I didn't want to spray out near the cats. Yes, the cat shells are a little rusty. That's nothing around here, to tell you the truth. So, this cross member was metal, so I coated that. And then the rear brace, this big brace here, and the torque arms and stuff like that, they're all metal, so I all coated them and got them all nice and covered. And then the rear subframe, the whole subframe, it's all metal, so I coated a bunch of stuff back here. But the suspension parts are aluminum. Everything looks good back here. But look at that. Okay? You see that? Well, first, when I saw that, I was like, my diff is leaking. I was like, oh crap. What's wrong with my rear diff? This is the limited slip viscous diff. It has a clutch pack that is in a real tacky fluid on the inside. And then it takes regular diff fluid in the back, just through the plugs and stuff like that. And I was like, why is it leaking? The closer I looked at it, I noticed this trail is dry. It's not oily. So if it was oil, it would not have dried. Now, there's some of this stuff on here since I sprayed everything, which I sprayed the diff too, so it's going to be one heck of a mess. But this diff has to come down out because what the problem is right there. That is a bushing for the rear diff. They are fluid filled on these, and when they blow out, all the fluid runs down over the diff, and then you can see it right there. So I ordered urethane bushings, which is a kit. It comes with that one in the back, and then these two right here that go up through the subframe, and they are solid urethane, like rubber. They're a slight upgrade from stock, but they still have enough spring in them and stuff that it's not harsh. So it should stiffen up my shifts and stuff. I didn't even grab a hold of that to see if I can like rock the diff. Let's see if I can get that moving. So me just pushing on it, I can't even tell if I'm moving it. I think I can see the bushing moving a little bit. But this is not a life or death situation. Where that helps is when you're really getting on it, you know, giving it a lot of throttle. That's where that helps. So like, and in between gears and stuff, first, second gear, I get a little bit of a rock when I go into second gear. That might help with that. It's probably got so much play that it's letting the diff rock. Whenever I go between gears, it'll probably be more firm and have a little less spring to it whenever I go to second. So, but I did order that kit. The bushing kit wasn't that bad. Then I ordered the sleeve that goes in there because I didn't want a chance having to reuse that and then not being able to get it out and getting it all messed up. So I ordered that, which was another $16. The kit was $45, and then with shipping and everything, it ended up being like $87. But this is a common issue with 350s and 370s, so this is probably something you're going to have to do. I'm going to do a video on it whenever I get the stuff in. Body underneath looks really good. The only slop underneath here is from me spraying that stuff. Being a 2009, this exhaust might look really rusty to you. That's really good for this area. Yeah, them bolts, they're no longer. That is they're a one-piece unit. I don't plan on taking them off. O2 sensor looks like it's brand new on that side. That one looks... This one's new. That one looks like it's old. So I'd say they replaced an O2 sensor. Besides that, man, that engine looks clean up in there. Transmission looks clean. It's dry. Nothing is leaking anywhere. And you would expect something to be maybe messed up or bent off of this control arm over here, but I don't see it. Everything looks good. Get this cover down out, and we can see the bottom side of the engine then. Upon first glance, power steering cooler, I don't know if they're supposed to be bent back like that or not. To me, I don't think they are, but I think it's supposed to be straight, but I could be wrong because that's where the air comes in at, right there. I don't know. I don't remember mine being bent like that. And the engine is, yeah, look, it's an engine. Same dinky oil pan. Everything looks good. Belt's looking a little old. That's probably original from 2009. But, I mean, yeah, there's really not much to see down here. That motor is dry as can be. It is fantastic. And I love that it has the stock headers, unlike my Infinity. And they use the dinkiest little filters too. And this thing has a service history from Nissan for its whole life. It's a Nissan filter. Unfortunately, I wanted to put a Mobil 1 on it, and they were out of the Mobil 1 filter for this. So I got a K&N filter to put on this. Same dinky filter. Get this fluid out and get fresh stuff in. And I also want to check the air filters on this thing too. Now, glancing this thing over, just looking over it, there's a lot of things to admire, I noticed. First off, right there is the starter. As you can see it, very plain as day. Right there it is. And all the bolts go in right here. Right there are the bolts for the starter. It's very easily accessible. This is the bottom one right there, and then the top ones are up there. And then you can access all the wires from right here. That's nice. Next thing I look at, the transmission looks like it's pretty simple to get out if you want to do a clutch on these. I'm not saying that the thing's going to need a clutch anytime soon. Right here, I can access all of the bell housing bolts around here. The wiring harness is all plug and play. You can move the exhaust stuff out of the way. Here, this brace, you would take it off. Now I do see a couple things I don't like though. These bolts go in from the front. But this plate, looks like this plate drops off and then you can get to them. Yeah, that's what that's for. Take that plate off and then you can get to those bottom bolts that come in from the other direction. Huh, pretty nifty. But then this brace comes out. Here's your drive shaft. Carbon fiber drive shaft, I may add. I didn't realize that until just recently, that these had carbon fiber drive shafts on them. That's pretty neat. You don't really notice, but yeah, right there. Carbon fiber reinforced plastic. Pretty neat. So there's your shifter, your linkage right there. This is the support arm for the shifter. Neat. I like it. Here are the cats that are probably worth a fortune, even though they look like poop. But I've noticed a couple things on this thing. I think the alternator may have been replaced. I just was looking up on there and I could tell that they had the wires off of it at one point. Although it looks the same condition as everything else in here, so maybe it wasn't. Maybe they just had the wiring harness off of it at one point. I know that O2 sensor was replaced because I just stuck that wire up in there, that bracket that the wire goes to up there. The wire wasn't in it. I just stuck it in there because that's where it's supposed to go. So somebody replaced it and didn't get the wire up in that clamp like it's supposed to be. Not that it would hurt anything, but that's just the way they go. Water jackets across the back of the engine look like they would be fun to service if you had a leak. But I mean, if you had the transmission down out, it would be no problem. And I am gonna make one heck of a mess, or be one heck of a mess when I go to take this out of here because of me coating this dang thing. I did not think twice before I did that. Oh, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be great. And there was one other thing I noticed on this, and I noticed it a while ago, that I was just like, really? I don't know what type of exhaust this is, if it's just a cheap exhaust or if somebody made this. It has one heck of beefy flanges on it. I almost feel like somebody made these. There's no names on them at all. It sounds pretty good, it does. And they fit really good. But over here, they had this flare out too far, where they had to chop this metal housing right here that holds the charcoal canister. So this is a charcoal canister. You can see they chopped that out to make room for the exhaust. This would normally be blocked in, and I feel like there's another way they could have went about that. But I tried to coat it because it was bare metal from them chopping and it was rusted. But it's not going to hurt anything. It's just extra gunk's going to get up in there where the charcoal canister's at, and that's not ideal. But I don't think a lot of slop's going to get up in there, so I didn't really make a big fuss out of it. Another thing that I'm really pleased with on this is that backup camera that I showed you guys, the mirror. Now, I had to readjust it, and I had to bring it down further and face it back. Now when I'm driving, it's like the rear view mirror. It's almost like a Corvette mirror. You know how the new Corvettes have the video footage of the rear view? I can see so much better behind me than just looking at the mirror myself. So I leave that footage, when it starts up, that's what it goes to. It defaults to the rear camera. And while I'm driving, I adjusted the blind spot monitoring on it. And when I'm going down the highway and a car is actually in my blind spot, it still shows on the camera. And it makes like a Mario sound, like a sound from a Mario game, when somebody's in my blind spot and it flashes red on the screen. It's very helpful. It's very helpful. So, like, I honestly, if I would have known how good that camera was and I didn't do a product review or whatever, I would have bought that camera. So I'm pretty happy with it, to tell you the truth. But yeah, on these Z's, this whole area right here is normally the exhaust. That's why they have that big heat shield there, and it's like hollow back in here. That's normally where your stock muffler's at. You thought I was gonna... No. Get some big old one of these so you can really crank it. Just kidding. That's not tight at all. So let's go ahead, put the pan back up on, get some fluid in it, and start it up.
Synthetics or synthetics?
So not only did this thing already have an exhaust on it, it also had K&N knockoffs. I don't know if they're actually K&N. They don't say K&N anywhere on them. They do say made in USA, but these are identical to K&N, and these are not factory filters. They were a little bit dirty. I do need to get my vacuum down in there because there's still a little bit there was some leaves in there, and then there was also some of this foam material that kind of ate itself away out of those. But for the most part, they are pretty clean, except for the fact that, I mean, like, they were thoroughly oiled. And when you oil these things, you need to, like, very lightly oil them. Should honestly take the maps out and clean them, but it's been running pretty good. So that's why I do have cleaner for these, but then you have to re-oil them, and I don't have the oil. You can see it's all over my hands. So I just, with an air wand, blew through the back side of them for the most part, and then the stuff that was still stuck in there, I kind of got in the groove and blew them out from the front side. But all the dirt that came out of them, you can see straight through them now. There's no, like, you see what I'm saying? You can see little dirt specks and stuff through them. So I cleaned these out the best I could. They look really good now. So they're going back in, and we're going to clean that air box and fire it up. Now this engine's supposed to take 5.2 quarts. I put 5 quarts in to start. I'm going to check it again. I do have another quart here. If I need to add that, I'll add it. Somebody come take the detailing spray from your boy. I just wiped everything down. It looks brand new underneath here. I wiped everything down. Window, cowl, everything. Oh, this looks so good. But yeah, like, I am super thrilled with this purchase. It might have been a gamble, but it paid off big time. I have like, let me guesstimate. I have about 12,000 in this car. You're not going to find another Z this low mileage, this condition for 12 grand. It just doesn't happen. Now, you might find an R title one. It's still not going to be this nice. I don't care what you say. So that's about $1,000 less than I had in the other Z. The other Z had twice as many miles on it. Lots more damage. The only thing it had over this was a backup camera, and it was just a little wee tiny one. That it didn't have any options. Open diff, automatic, the poopy stereo, which I put a touch screen in it. It only had a couple speakers in it because those ones don't have the back speakers like this one does. This one has a sub. It was missing a bunch of things that I had to purchase. That Z, it didn't turn out as good as what this thing did. So now we're fully serviced up on this. I think I'm going to move my attention over to this right now. A vicious cycle over here. I don't know what to work on. So yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow when we move over to the C10. Alright, so I'm realizing now what the next step is on the C10. What needs to be done right now is the bed needs to come off. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Hopefully we'll get it off this episode, but I got so much stuff in the bed. Some of it needs to come out. I guess not all of it needs to come out, but to do the rockers and the cab corners, the only way you're going to get the cab corners completely is you need to get the bed off. There's no other way around it. So I also need to do that C-notch kit, which the bed has to be off to do that. So I guess that's what we're doing. That's the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and move the truck over here, clear this out a little bit, and then we're going to work on getting the bed off this episode. So nice. Shut this thing off. I did get some new parts for this thing. I left it in neutral because that way we can move it around. Check this out. Ta-da! This was like $30, something like that. But the needle's broken off of mine, and that's just gonna look so much nicer in there. I got the wrong one. I got the wrong one. Nice. Oh, great. So I think instead of sending this back, honestly, this needle was about the same price as the whole new backing. I'm just going to clean that one up, and I'll I'll take the needle and the spring and everything off of this one and just transfer it onto mine. Instead of sending this back, ordering another one, it's just pain in the butt. It'd just be easier just to go this route. Can't believe I just did that. Hey, I make mistakes, people, a lot of the time. So I need to get some stuff out of this bed. The C-notch kit, the patch panels. I'm not getting everything out of here. I got an extra door in there that I decided I'm not using. If anybody needs a C10 door, I got one that's in not that bad a shape. I'd sell that to you. Oh, that's sucky. Alright, so we got her up in the air. We need to get the tail lights out. Both fuel tank doors, need to get them. We're just going to take them off from the side of the bed, push this whole panel in. And this fuel neck too needs to come off as well. So I'm going to leave the doors on there. I think they're going to be fine. And there's a ground strap on the back side of those. We'll get to those when I get it up in the air. Also should try to pound this out some. Actually, I ought to try using that dent puller. That's pretty thick metal. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with it, but I can try. I mean, there's no hurt in trying, I guess. Alright, so all the bolts are out of the filler neck, tail lights are out, so I can get the harness out. This filler neck doesn't want to come loose for some reason. The ground strap's not even hooked up on this one, so I don't know what's still holding it. Doesn't look like anything. So it might just be stuck on there, or it's because of the bed. I see it's tight up against the bed. It's probably because of this bedside being pushed in some. That's probably why that one don't want to come loose. This one came right out. No problem, it's loose. Ground strap is on that one. Fuel necks have seen better days, but I mean, there's no brakes or anything in it yet, so I guess we're good there. But yeah, bed bolts, whether they want to come out or not, there should be 8 of them, and they're carriage bolts, so they'll hold themselves in from the top. Where are they? Where are they? Alright, so here's one. That nut right there. You can see, looked like it was already spinning. Somebody had already, it might have been me. I don't even remember. Yeah, I think I tried to get that out, and it just spun. So that's going to be fun. This one is a short one for some reason, where the other one's a long one. Right there's one. There should be one over here. Yep, there's one there. There's only one long one in it right here. Back here, right there's one, and right there's one. Well, it's looking kind of crappy back here, but still doable. Okay, so one long bolt and the rest of them are short bolts. And we just need to put some new parts on like that. It looks so much better. I know I tried to take this long one out because I could see where I had the channel locks on it, and it didn't. So we might just cut that one off. That's gonna save us, because I know, I can tell that I was on that, and I remember it spinning. I really remember that. We'll just chop that one with a Sawzall, and then we'll get the rest. Oh, you can't even get that with an impact. See, if that was one of the long bolts, you'd be able to get to it, but that is gonna be a pain in the butt. I think I can get to these ones up here. Okay. that took forever and a day. Ended up just ending with the Sawzall. As you can see, some bent blades there. Got them up in there and just cut those other ones off. Carriage bolts, if you're really hard on them, they have a square, like a indent that the bed is supposed to hold. Like they drop down in. But once they get so loose, if they're really rusty, like mine were, then they want to pop up out of those holes or round those holes out, and then there's no way of getting them out. So we cut that one off, cut that one off, and we cut that one off, and then of course we cut the middle one there. So only 1, 2, 3 of them I got removed. And then the rest of them, oh no, wait. Did I? Oh, that one broke off. Yep. Only 3 of them I got removed. So, I'm telling you, this vehicle is testing my patience. It's making my eye twitch. It's really testing it. But if you remember right, the exhaust, which I got to get new gaskets for, is attached to the bed, is the way they did it. They put angle, which are way over what they should be. They're 1/4 inch thick angle iron. But that's what the hangers are bolted to. The exhaust is in really good shape. I guess he just had that done not too long ago. But we need to get new flange gaskets here. They're just kind of falling apart, as you can see. Let me get this so I don't forget it. But I think I got everything disconnected. I took the ground off over here. The overflow for the diff attaches to the bed, so you got to get that off. And then I was wrong. You didn't have to take the tail lights or any of that out. There's a plug right here. You disconnect it. This is from the frame rail, and then this goes to the tail lights. So that's the tail light harness is separate, and it'll come off with the truck, with the bed. So I believe everything is out of this now. So I'm going to move this exhaust out of the way, get some stuff out of the way. I'm going to pull the truck forward, and I'm just going to put the lift arms under the bed, and we're going to lift the bed up off this truck. It's time. Alright, so the only thing I'm really worried about at this point is that filler neck is not coming loose. This one's loose, but this one's like really tight. So I think the bed side's pushed in right there. It's got it wedged in there, but let's just take this up a little bit. I'm not really worried if it bends back here because I got those panels. It's just this filler neck is stuck. Let me get some pry bars in here. It is right stuck where it's supposed to be. Does not want to come loose. Come on, filler neck. Get out. I'm gonna break this thing. I can see it now. It's moving. Not the right direction. Get on my truck. This is going to be fun putting back in. I can see it already. Yeah. Oh. Is that it? Is that it? I think I got it. Ha-ha! Now, this is the only thing. We're like barely on this one because the fuel tank's right there. Let's go check the other side out and see how it's looking. Not fuel tank. Is it fuel tank missing here? Or am I touching fuel tank? I'll reposition this arm and try it again. Alright, repositioned. Now before we go crazy, let me get on the other side here. I should have emptied the bed, but we're clearing, but I don't know if it's going to make it the whole way or not. Let's just go for it. We're not getting any younger. I hear something, and I don't like it. I think it's just the filler neck's dragging. across these nuts. It's just the filler neck. So let me get the filler necks out of the way, and then we should be able to go the whole way up with it. Yes, I did smash this panel. I don't care. This is all getting replaced right here. I'm a little nervous because this is like starting to crush over here. I'm gonna try to put a block of wood in there. I'm gonna find a block of wood to wedge in there. I can hear it crunching. It's so rusty right there. It's making me nervous because that could crunch, fall. I'm in a bad place right now. I'm not even lying. All right, a little bit of emergency ingenuity here, and I had a block that was tight, and I hammered it in there. There's no way it's gonna crush now. So I'm good. But I should be able to back the truck up now. As you can see, I have clearance. Clarence. Do you know who Clarence is? This is going to be nice to work on this. Man, I did not realize that the fuel pump, I thought I'd be able to get to ascending units. And you cannot. So as it sits right now, I have a lot of wire brushing to do because there's a lot of dirt and stuff on here that needs to come off before I decide to paint it. And I got Tractor Supply paint, black paint with hardener. And I don't know if I'm going to spray it on or if I'm going to roll it on yet. If you roll it on, it's thicker, or brush it on, and you get good coverage with it. But spraying it on is a lot faster. It's just not going to be as thick. So I'm not kind of on the fence on how I want to do this, but I at least have it to this point now. So this is why you have to have the box off. Right here is the main part of your cab corner, and that's where they rot most of it. And right here is the patch. Yeah, right here is the patch panel for that. So to get that, you're not going to get it with the bed on. So I hope the inner structure is good here. It feels like it. There's like a angle bracket there that I don't feel like even needs to be there. I don't need nothing bolts to it. So we won't need to do that, but we will have to cut this back cab off. We're going to put as much of this in as possible. As you see, they give you extra, so I will have to cut it because of the indent in the back of the cab. But yeah, this thing's gonna be like a brand new truck. I still gotta remove the front fenders, which is most of the structure of the truck, so that I can get these in. As that goes underneath there, and it's gonna go the whole way up into where that pinch welt's gone, and I'm probably gonna have to build a little bit of a panel right there, but this is all gonna be nice when it's done. But on that, wait, I got a product review. Yeah, I got a product review I got to show you guys. Then we'll end the episode. This is actually a pretty cool product. If you guys have a Chevy pickup like mine, 2016, came with Apple CarPlay, did not come with Android Auto. So there is a fix for that, and it's a very simple fix. It's a box that you just plug in, and then you have Android Auto through Apple CarPlay. It's nice. Some of these things they sent me is pretty cool. As you can see, no Android Auto, but Apple CarPlay turns up on here, and that is because of the AI Box LITE one-car stereo. All you do with this is plug it into your USB, and you don't need power or nothing. And then I do have a cord that runs to it. In case I want to plug in and charge my phone, I can do that. But it has wireless CarPlay, and as you can see, it comes up as projection. Let me make sure my phone wants to connect to the truck instead of the device, which I need to delete my phone off of the radio so that it'll connect to this instead of the radio. So there, it just connected to it. BT9BB1 is what it comes up as. It's connecting to it right now. So now if I hit CarPlay, it's going to connect to that device and show you my address. As you can see, you have Apple CarPlay. So now it's playing my Spotify. There is like a home hub. you can go to, and there's Netflix on there, there's apps, and then there's Android Auto. Let's go to apps. YouTube and stuff's on there. I haven't actually tried any of these yet. Let me try YouTube. Let's get some Unwrecked going. So unfortunately, to do that, you do have to connect to your phone's hotspot so that it has internet to work. Now, I don't know why it wouldn't just run off your phone, but yeah, you have to hotspot tether, and I could probably do Wi-Fi and connect to my house, but I'll go ahead. Okay, we'll try it. Check it out. Now, the waves you're seeing on the screen don't come up to my eyes. You can see that through my camera. It's because of my settings or whatever, because of the lighting. But it's as clear as can be. It looks really good. Now, do I ever see myself using tethering while I'm driving? Probably not, because it is stanky slow. I clicked higher quality for my video, and it has not even loaded yet. So it'll probably only play like 10 seconds and then stop. It might be quicker just to do like Wi-Fi tethering or plug in and do USB tethering. Might be the better option. Regardless, I have Android Auto in my truck, and this normally does not have Android Auto. So if you would like to get your hands on one of these, go down to the link in my description. Hopefully there's a discount code for you guys. If there is, click it and get a discount. Get this thing. It's plug and play, man. It's easy. With that being said, that's going to be the end of this episode. So if you like this video, smash that like button. Consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if your mom wants me to blow her box off the frame. We'll see you on the next episode.
Unwrecked.
Versus low on melatonin, so I would suggest start taking melatonin before bed, and that will help with sleep and calming.
Say bye-bye.
Because stress.